morning, YouTube. This is Big Giant Monster. Today I was going to talk about three things in Captain America Civil War that make it awesome. Now, all the Captain America movies are awesome. Captain America is the awesomest. Um, he's not as awesome as John McClane. Of course, John McClane uses the F word a lot more than Captain America does. Here, let me tell you these things that make Civil War great. First, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the Avengers, the first Avengers. So, in the Avengers, you had Iron Man. He was the first one. His powers mostly punching. I mean, he had lasers and ray guns and stuff, and he was rich.
What are your superpowers again?
Then you had the Hulk. Now the Hulk was just one big punch. I mean, he could have been called Punch. You know, he instead of the Hulk, he could have just been called Punch. That's how much his power is just punching. Then there was Captain America and his attitude. You know, he's like a big Boy Scout. His biggest power is punching. And then Thor, who actually has a hammer, which isn't punching, but it's the same thing, just hitting things with a hammer. So these are your main Avengers, and it was a great movie to bring together all these different characters. And then you threw in Black Widow, who punched as well, and then the guy with arrows, which was even a more lame superpower than punching things. You know, punching things is great superpower to have, especially when you're in these situations. But for myself and my own life, I haven't punched anything in a really long time. And as I recall, when I was a kid, I was punched in the face probably 3 times in my whole life. And it sucks getting punched in the face. But let me tell you something. When you punch someone, it hurts, man. It hurts worse sometimes than getting punched. So as adults, we generally don't punch things. And then we go to watch movies about these people that just punch all the time. So this is where we start with the first thing, number one thing that's awesome about Captain America Civil War. Here we have at this airport all of these people fighting using all of these different powers. This is what superheroes are. How many movies into the Marvel thing are we here? This is like the 100th movie for the Marvel Universe.
Not good enough, damn it! Not good enough!
No, I'm guessing it's more like 10 or 11. But this is the first big superhero fight that we see in all of these movies that aren't just people punching each other. They don't just have the punchy kind of superpowers. So that's the first thing that's awesome about Captain America Civil War. The second thing that's awesome about Captain America Civil War is it's the first movie, it's one of the first superhero movies that managed to have this big scale. The stakes weren't the world, where it wasn't like if they lost, everything was going to blow up and the world was going to end. This was just, I mean, there were ideological differences. This was almost kind of a metaphor for what's going on. I don't know, metaphor, allegory, whatever, for what's going on in America right now, which I don't want to get into. Now here is the third thing that made Captain America Civil War awesome. There wasn't a real clear bad guy. These were two guys that you knew. You knew Iron Man already really well. You knew Captain America. You knew where they were both coming from. They're the ones in conflict with each other. Of course, you had the general, and no one has sympathy for this general. He's a horrible person. In fact, I'm gonna say I think the general, in characters like this, they're kind of like on the periphery. They're the worst. They're worse than the villains. The villains, you know where they stand. You know, guys like this are always pulling strings and causing trouble in the background, and you think that they're on your side, but they're really not. You know, that kind of thing. Those are the ones I don't, you know, those are the ones you got to watch out for. They're the ones that will wind up killing you. Anyway, thank you for listening. Sorry about my voice went out there for a little bit. But those are the 3 things in Captain America Civil War that make it awesome. This is Big Giant Monster. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.
Big Giant. giant monsters bonus after credit scene.
In the Schrute family, we believe in a five-fingered intervention: awareness, education, control, acceptance, and punching.